Welcome back to the Center for Equus Coaching. We're a community of coaches who believe that partnering with horses can help transform the way we connect to ourselves, others, and the world around us. I'm Travis Stock, one of the instructors here at the Center for Equus Coaching, and today I want to highlight something that doesn't get talked about enough. Building an equus coaching business doesn't have to be a solo journey. Let's be real, not everyone who believes in the power of equus coaching wants to run their own solopreneur business. Coming from experience, it's a lot of work. But today's guests have found a different path. They paired up and they're doing this work together. Marlene Armstrong and Maureen Donoghue are the team behind Unbridled Coaching, offering leadership and team coaching, private equus coaching, and horse meditations at Foxview Stables just outside of Ottawa, Canada. They are not only great coaches, but they are wicked funny, which I hope they will let you see in this conversation today. Marlene and Maureen, I love that you're both here together. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. We love that we're
So
both
nice.
here together too.
We're excited.
Well, since I introduced you as a pair, why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourselves as individuals? Marlene, we'll start with you.
Okay. I was going to get Maureen to go first.
I put your name first.
I'm Marlene Armstrong, as you said. I'm a previous owner of Foxview Stables. I just sold the stables to my daughter and her fiance. So
That's
that's
a
big
big
news.
step.
So I guess I built the stables from the ground up, and my original purpose for the stable was to have equus coaching, do retreats, etc. Big plans on that, and it kind of morphed over the years and turned into a boarding and stable facility, or boarding and training facility. Sorry, that my daughter now runs. But at the same time, it does also incorporate the equus coaching. So that was actually about 18 years ago. So we've been at it for a while.
Yeah, my
And
goodness.
about myself, I have a Bachelor of Commerce. My specialty when I was working in the corporate world was project management, um, and also human resources. So that's kind of my career background. I'm a public servant for 35 years, so becoming an entrepreneur was quite the learning curve. And Maureen and I felt it was like this. But we've managed, and so that's a little bit about myself. I'll turn it over to you.
Good. I'm excited to figure out how all of that led to equus coaching, but let's hear from Maureen first.
Oh, yes, I can tell you.
So Maureen Donoghue, and like Marlene, a public servant for decades. And actually, that's where Marlene and I met in the last phase of my career. We worked together professionally. In terms of my professional career, I went from classroom teacher in previous life to stand-up trainer to management consultant. So that was the career trajectory, master's in education. And when it comes to the animal part, owned dogs and competed in the agility.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I
You're
ended
one
up
of those people running around with a dog, huh?
yes, with the obstacles, like mini horse thing, but
Yeah,
on
yeah.
a smaller scale. And it was a ton of fun. So, and then I ended up actually training people to learn how to do agility. So there is the connection with the animals. And
What a fascinating previous life you had.
yeah, so it's sort of like a passion for learning and personal professional growth, and then a love of animals. So you see where
Okay.
this is going.
How did the two of you find out about equus coaching? How did that all come about?
So, as Maureen's mentioned, we worked together for a number of years, and she retired about 2 to 3 years ahead of me. And in the meantime, just before I retired, I bought the farm. So, and everyone, of course, at work is going, "Why would you buy a farm when you're retiring? You're supposed to sit and
Yeah,
relax."
it's
And I'm going,
a choice.
I'm a project manager by trade. Like, there's no way I'm
Got it.
sitting down and doing nothing.
Uh-huh.
So the farm provides a lot of that. About 5 years before retirement, I was commuting on the bus, and there was a local rag, and I saw an article about horses helping humans, a couple in Australia who are offering this work. And I've been a horsewoman all my life. I only actually owned my first horse when I was 50, but I always rode all through my teens and my 20s and 30s and so on. So always had horses in my life. I have a passion for them ever since I can remember. And so I said, oh, that's really interesting, because I did all the traditional stuff for competing and all this stuff, and I really want to do something different with horses. And so I thought, oh, this was great. I want to, try to do this. So bought the farm and met Maureen for lunch. And I said, oh, what are you doing? Are you going to go back and do consulting and all this stuff? And she said, no way I'm doing consulting. She'd had enough. She'd been in her pajamas for 3 years.
Yeah. I did the exact opposite of Marlene.
Yeah. So I said, well, what about horses helping humans? Because I knew she had the animal connection, but actually no horse experience whatsoever, or very little anyway. And I literally could see the light bulb go off in Maureen's head. We're discussing this. And so Maureen, being the researcher that she is, did some research. A friend of hers actually was in the Martha Beck program, had not
Met
sure whether
Coel.
she had met
She met
Coel.
Coel.
And so she connected Maureen and Coel, and I'll let you tell the rest.
Yeah. So then what happened there was we got on the phone with Coel, myself and another friend, and we signed up for Coel's program. And then,
for those of you that are new to our work, Coel is the founder of Equus Coaching and was the original owner and trainer for this program. But keep going.
Yeah, so that was obviously a while back. And then Marlene went the following year and got her certification. And, the rest, quite frankly, is history. There's Marlene with the farm and the horses and the two of us, all trained up and ready to go.
Perfect setup.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you guys went through it 2 separate years. I thought you were together through the whole journey. Okay.
Yeah, the timing didn't work for Marlene at first. And but another funny part of the story for me was when I was on my first on-site and Coel asked for me to go and get a horse. And so I went to go and get it. And like Marlene said, like, zero experience with horses. Okay, dog's good. But I thought, oh, I just love horses, And then, like, I was so afraid. All this fear came over me. Like, talk about a blind spot. I went from, oh, I love horses to, what have I done? What have I done?
You and I have a much more similar journey than Marlene and I do. I remember I had a couple of sessions as a client with Coel early on. And when I moved to California to help sort of manage a ranch that she was running the Equus Coaching course out of, I remember that one of the first days there together, she said, go catch that horse. And she said, go put a halter on that horse. And I said, that's the thing that goes on the face, right? Like I had that little knowledge about horses, and I had the halter all tied in a knot basically and had to hand it back to her to get her to fix it for me so I could figure it out. But yeah, no, some of us have that's the cool part about our training is that not everybody comes in with that knowledge of horsemanship. And over time, we teach those skills so that we can get comfortable. So if Maureen and I can do it, then anybody can do it because we were inexperienced.
And like not realizing I was afraid of them.
Yeah.
So talk about instant coaching.
What were the biggest things let's say somebody's thinking about joining Equus Coach training and they want to be around horses, but they have their own fear. What were the biggest things that helped you move through that?
Well, being able to work alongside Marlene, and I knew, I just felt very confident with her. And there's another reason for good partnerships. And even if you don't enter into, let's say, a work partnership, I would find somebody who is seasoned with horses, confident with horses. You like how they interact and treat horses. It's like a mentor maybe on the ground if you have that anxiety. Because to work through that on your own with the horses, that's a tall order, I would say.
Right. And it would be very difficult to do that just in the 3 on-sites that we offer. I mean, you can get
Right.
some comfort, but there's a whole nother level when you're kind of out there on your own, when you don't have an instructor there, when you're at a ranch by yourself. And so one of the things we always recommend to people, and a part of the of becoming an Equus coaching, is having to build relationships with farms and ranch owners
Mhm.
Yeah.
so that you can go. We actually ask people to volunteer in the beginning. So that's mucking stalls, moving
Yeah.
horses, feeding, doing those kind of things that are just about being around a horse, being
Yeah.
around a horse in a stall, putting a halter on, all those things, so that you can develop some sense of comfort. Because when you start to work as an Equus coach, you got to have enough comfort to be able to move the horses back and forth to to places and to keep our clients safe. So you're
Yeah.
very right that it does take getting some mentorship, getting some guidance, being around other horse people that you do respect so that you can understand how to safely interact with them.
And there's a lot to learn
Some are
about them.
1,200.
They're not dogs.
Uh-huh.
I'm
No.
just
Yeah,
saying.
totally. Yeah, yeah, they're definitely not dogs.
You know?
One of the things I love to hear from people is if you go back to your own personal journey of learning Equus coaching and going through this, part of what we do is we ask people to kind of do their own work in the process. You get to experience what it's like to be a client and you get to learn the skill set. What are some of the primary learnings that you've had from Equus coaching and the receiving end of things?
I think really learning about your blind spots. I mean, like you said, that, she had no clue that she was afraid of horses. Like, that's a major blind spot. But, we all have them and we have them for different things, right?
Yeah.
So I think for me, a lot of the learning has been around those blind spots and working through those. And I think, at the very beginning for me, what I found, I guess, challenging, and I'm being totally open and transparent about this, is that I don't come from a coaching background.
Right.
So it was like, oh, I'm the opposite of everyone. Everyone else is learning about the horses, and these
Mhm.
people already know the coaching side. So I had to learn all of that side. So it was kind of like flipping the script a little bit here for me. So I think that was a huge accomplishment, I guess, if you want to call it, or a huge challenge for me to get to that point.
Yeah, this is very common in our herd, and the people that come through our program is some of us don't really have the horse piece, some of us don't have the coaching piece, and some of the people come with neither. And that's what
Yeah.
I love to highlight for people is that we're going to get you there. We're going to get you both comfortable
Yeah.
with the coaching
You do.
skills, and we're going to get you there with the horsemanship too. That's what this program is all about, and that's why we treat it as not just a weekend certification, but it's like a year plus of instruction and then 2 years to get certified. So that's why it's such a
That's
big deal,
yeah.
is because there's a lot to learn.
Mm.
And that's what I would like to highlight, and I highlight to people that ask, is that this is a vigorous program. As you said, it's not a
Mm,
weekend thing. I've gone to the weekend things, trust me.
hmm.
Not, you learn something, but not a lot. And for me, what I really appreciated was how vigorous it was. And when we went through, which was 2011, 2012, it was a 1-year program, but it
Yeah.
was intense. We had, like, I don't know, 16 to 20 different teleclasses. We had 3 on sites. Like, it was a lot. And I really appreciated that because I felt I really know my stuff now. I feel
Yeah.
really comfortable to move forward and offer this.
It's even expanded since there. We've got 32 teleclasses. We've got 3 4-day on-sites. We have, not only becoming certified as an Equus coach, but you can also become certified as an
Oh,
ICF certified, coach as well. We're a
Yes.
level 2
That's a
accredited
huge
body. So
accomplishment.
yeah.
you come away with the ability to be accredited on a high level and
Yeah.
be recognized in the world at a high level.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
What about
Agree.
for you, Maureen? What's a learning you got from the program?
Well, coming because of my academic background and professional background, that notion of you know personal development is very strong. So what was fascinating for me is there is the book learning around that
Yeah.
with concepts and that, which you have your insights and that's great. And then I did follow a teacher for 30 plus years, in terms of energy and meditation. So
Mm.
that was fantastic because that was, let's say, beyond the books. But that being said, I guess it goes back to realizing that how afraid I was. And being with the horses, it opened up a whole new, and like I'm a professional personal growth person,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it opened up a whole new door of learning about myself, which, at times brings you up short. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, hallelujah, because, really, because there is a lot of, fears there, uncertainties. And how that's what we talk about, how the horses, there's no judgment.
Mhm.
So when you're with them, it's such pure feedback. It's such strong intelligence that you're with, and it has allowed me to just keep getting to know really who I am with respect to my courage,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh,
then how
love
I show
that.
up, you know, as in the world of things that I get anxious about and I would avoid or back down from. I watched myself get braver.
Yeah.
And to
Ooh.
me, I didn't get that from the books.
Tell them about your riding.
Oh, that's right. So there I am. This
At
is about
63 years old.
Yeah, this is about 5 years
Okay.
in of doing the coaching, and there, yeah, there I am, all brave now, all brave, and I'm off to this, go for a meditation weekend, and of course, spending the weekend, you're listening, and this big insight message: you should learn how to ride. Yeah, you can imagine how much resistance there was there. But I knew well enough that when those types of messages or insights come through, it's important to listen. So I talked to Marlene about it, and Marlene's daughter, as she mentioned, she was doing the training piece, and she was willing to take me on. The 60-some-year-old lady.
Who's never ridden really than one
No,
time,
no.
maybe?
So that in itself has been a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
How's it going
and
now?
I have a riding class every week, and every week
Still.
it feels like I'm on a roller coaster,
Uh-huh.
but vacillating between, yippee, yahoo to, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because I think most people, when they think of doing work with horses, they think about on horseback, like riding like that.
Yeah.
So much, all of our work as Equus coaches is on the ground. It's all face to face. It's all take the regular control mechanisms away and build a relationship with a being that doesn't speak the same language as you do.
Mhm.
And so even for me, I don't feel confident in my riding skills. People are like, you must ride all the time. And I was like, I have ridden. Would I do it by myself? Would I tack up and move out? No, because that's just not how my relationship. So it is interesting how there are so many ways to be with this animal. And I love
Yes.
that you highlighted that, interestingly, like being in relationship with a horse can teach us about ourselves and how it can help us become braver in the world. And I don't know, this world feels like we need a lot of bravery to navigate these days.
Yeah,
Oh,
big
yeah.
time.
So it's very it's like strange, but like in the cool way, how being with a horse can teach us about ourselves. And
Mhm.
I just appreciate you both sharing examples of where you've grown as people because of your relationship with these animals and the willingness to not just learn at the conceptual level, learn the facts, learn by the book, but to actually be experientially in your body, in relationship, in community. We really value that version of learning, which I think is a bit more aligned with how we evolved to learn, not necessarily how our school systems have taught us to learn. So
Yeah.
let's hear a little bit more about your actual partnership. Tell me about your version of Equus coaching that you're offering through Unbridled Coaching.
Well, at the beginning, it was interesting, Travis, that when you're coaching together, certainly at the very beginning, we were like kind of stepping on each other's toes and not quite sure who's going to
Yeah,
speak
it's quite an
first, who's going
interesting
to speak
dance you have to
second, who's
learn.
going to speak at
You
all.
shut up.
Yeah. Like it was kind of, fun and interesting at the same time. But I think over the years we've evolved that it's really organic now. It's really
Mm,
like we just naturally know when one has to, start and the other one has to pick up, or vice versa, or we'll we'll each have different
Yeah.
insights or approaches to whatever's coming up for the person. And we will share those, like it's not, we don't have to hold back anything. We just organically work together. But it took several years to do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It's interesting.
And, we were sensitive to, from the point of view of the client, there
Yeah.
they've got a 4-legged 1,000-pound coach and then the two of us.
Yeah.
And there they are, if you're doing the private coaching.
Yeah.
So it had to
It's
be,
a 3-on-1.
yeah, that's value added, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it could
Yeah.
blow your circuits too.
A 100% can.
Yeah.
I think that's a really nice thing that you're pointing out, because I think sometimes people are very interested in offering this kind of work, but it's something I hear from especially brand new Equus coaches is like, how am I going to know what question to ask? How am I going to find the right perspective to take with somebody? How am I going to help this person, every single person? And I think it can feel sometimes, especially in the beginning, a little like you're out on a ledge by yourself.
Yeah.
But having that partnership that you two have, having different perspectives and
Yeah.
approaches and picking up things, that is such a nice little safety net for you, that if you get in over your head about something or you feel unclear what's happening, that you've got somebody else there that's got eyes on it too.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Little hand signals to be like, I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing.
But like you said, it is a safety net. And
Mm.
well, to me, and I think you would say
Mhm.
the same thing, is that
Mhm.
I don't think we'd still be in the business,
No.
quite frankly, if we were solo.
Yeah.
Just because
Well, it's the work.
it's the amount of work, and
Yeah,
it's
it's a lot of work.
I think we learned to work so well together that it would seem weird to do it alone,
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
we have done the odd clients alone kind of thing because one wasn't available or whatever.
It has a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got, there's been some fur and feathers too, and
Mhm.
as we are,
Yep.
there's a lot of overlap and similarities in our values, a lot of shared values, but in terms of personality and
Mhm.
there's some differences, but at the same time, those differences, it's like diversity. It's much richer if you learn to respect each other's differences
Mhm.
and navigate that. And I just feel that the benefits are you share the workload, and then it's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Way more fun.
It's a lot more fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys are just embodying what the horses show us all the time. Doing it alone is not the way to go. They understand safety in numbers. They understand that herd is important, and doing it alone is just less fun. And I always know that I get the most satisfaction when I'm out in the world collaborating with other Equus coaches, teaching with other Equus coaches, not having
Yeah.
to hold it on my own. Of course, I do my own things here and there, but you're right, it's far more fun to be able
Yeah.
to do it with other people and to
Yeah.
have, a playmate to bounce off of, and more to it when we can do it in partnership.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, I mean, we have a formal partner. We don't even really have a formal partnership,
No.
but we've been partners for, over a decade. But it doesn't have to be something formal. It's like you said, collaborating with another coach. Like we actually are starting to collaborate with some other practitioners, like
Mm.
yoga teachers and healing
Yeah.
practitioners.
We've done that
Like,
over the years,
yeah,
collaborations.
we've done different collaborations actually. So it's about that, I think, in terms of having fun and making
Mm.
it a whole lot easier
Richer.
and richer.
Richer.
And yeah. So
Mm.
it doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
formal partnership. It can just, like you say,
Yeah, in terms
collaborate.
of the business sense. Now, everybody's different in terms of what they want. And even that could have evolved over the years if, let's say, the nature of the business shifted or whatever, you could change that.
So tell me about what your business look like. What are your offerings look like now?
We have a meditation program which will span a number of months. And because of the weather here, we launch in the spring and we close in the fall. And then we offer the 2 retreats, one in the spring, one in the fall. And then, throughout the whole season, we're available for private Equus coaching, the one-on-ones. I know when we first started, Marlene and I, one thing that struck us, while we were stepping on each other's toes, was within 10 minutes with the horse, the clients would be having these incredible light bulb experiences. And we were so struck by that. We didn't get it. And not only
I
that,
couldn't language it.
yeah, like we look at each other as their car was going down the laneway and we'd say, what just happened?
Yeah.
And the other lovely outcome with the coaching is it really did make differences in people's lives.
Mhm.
Like my experience with personal growth is a little bit forward, then a little bit back, or it never happens, for significant, deep personal growth. Whereas with the horses, it was very different. It took us a couple of years to start to language that. And what we evolved was what we called our relationship intelligence model.
Hmm.
And it was inspired by Daniel Goleman's emotional intelligence work.
And
And
Judith Glasser.
right, Judith Glasser, who does conversational intelligence, and then Carla McLaren, The Language of Emotions,
Mhm,
and then
mhm.
another seminal book is The Dance of Anger by Harriet Lerner. And the model really, well, we felt like the horses know how to connect with themselves, and they're 100% present. So, and I guess this is where the meditation program has been able to evolve and share that model quite a lot, because people go inside and they're able to entrain energetically with the horse with what we refer to as your capital S self and have an experience of that. And then when they do, then they have access to their inner wisdom and the insights. And at the same time, there is what we call the small S self, which is your human personality, and having that relationship between the two within yourself. And then ultimately, that unconditional love that you nurture for yourself. And again, when you watch the horses, they are so all about that, in constant connection with source. They don't judge themselves. They're always there. And then it translates into relationships. Can you bring, when you are in relationship with others, can you keep that connection with yourself and all of the human dynamics? So it's been quite the model we've kind of been able to language what the horses offer, and when you show up, what you can receive, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's no wonder we partner with these beautiful, amazing animals because they aren't ever disconnected from self and they are never not present. And so
Right.
they just they can anchor us back into the moment. And I always find that people are astonished when they stand next to this big animal, how much presence is required of them. And when they actually settle into that, what surfaces, what rises to the surface that has been held down by our mind thinking about the past and the future. It's so lovely to not just be able to talk about that concept of presence, but to actually invite someone in through this big being that's right there next to
Right.
them.
Yeah, exactly,
Right, right.
exactly.
Yeah, so it
Now,
took years.
is this model something that you use internally as you're working with your clients to help assess and to figure out how to show up for your clients? Or is this something that you're actually offering and teaching to your clients so that they have that model as well?
I think it's both.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Part of the model is a whole self-awareness piece, and then there's management, so self-regulation and how we regulate with the horse. The horse does help us to self-regulate because of their huge heart, and
mhm,
our hearts in train with theirs. Well, certainly, I think through the meditation program we kind of teach that, but in when we're coaching, it just forms part of what's happening in the moment, and what's coming up for them, and how are they self-aware of this stuff, are they able to self-regulate as a result of now I know what it is, but I'm still like all over the place, right? So
mhm,
how we coach around how they can do that. Do you want
Yeah.
to add to
And
that?
then, yeah, and actually the model helps us to coach around them differentiating between oh, is that the thinking mind, or is
Mm.
that your inner wisdom?
Mm.
And to differentiate. And, like obviously with the Byron Katie model is, that cognitive piece really helpful. Then the somatic piece, how the body feels when you think that thought. And then, we overlay it with this notion of trying to simplify it a bit, differentiate those voices, or, so that they know when it's the thinking mind that is active versus their inner wisdom, their
Mm.
intuition, their connection to source.
I think that is so important. I think so many of us walk around confused about what voice is speaking here. Is this my social self, my thinking mind, the part of me that's learned to navigate the world and stay safe? Or is this actually inner wisdom that's coming forward? And
Right.
sometimes to differentiate that's really challenging. And I love that you
Mhm.
guys are offering that and using the horses to help offer that, because
Yeah.
I think that is what so many people are craving, is to be able to pull those voices apart a little bit so I can know this is where I'm coming from my inner wisdom and this is where I'm thinking or controlling or judging through the mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's conditioning, you
Yeah,
know? Mhm.
conditioning for sure.
Yeah, and those programs have served in the past, and then they become outdated. And they're
Mhm.
not serving you in what you're having to navigate, let's say, right here, right now. So,
Oftentimes they limit you. They are
yeah,
blocking you from where you're trying to get to, or they're keeping
right,
you in an old version of self rather than being able to really step towards those things or those goals that you have in your life or those
right,
ways of feeling that you have for your life.
right.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
It's some of the biggest, bravest work I always say people are doing when they're updating their conditioning and any of the safety strategies they've created to navigate the world, because it feels uncomfortable for a while to
Big
like
time.
have to confront your conditioning or to confront those safety strategies you've developed and develop new ones.
Yeah,
But at a certain point we do have to recognize that the conditioning is getting in our way,
right,
and the risk of trying something new is more beneficial than the staying where we are.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And what I love about this work is that the insights our clients get around all of that, we get them too
yeah.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the same
I
time.
know,
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, is that ever good, eh? We don't say that right in front of them though, eh?
We're just fooling ourselves if we think we're doing this altruistically. We're totally
Yeah,
getting a
yeah,
ton out
yeah,
of this.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Afterwards, "Oh, that was really good."
And I don't
Uh-huh.
even think it's, altruistic or selfish or whatever. It's
Mhm.
just that it happens. Like,
It
Yeah,
oh
happens.
my goodness, like that makes sense.
yeah,
The other
Mhm.
thing that I find very interesting is the clients that come are often the clients that we need.
Yeah,
mhm.
exactly.
And
It's a
that's what I
Say
mean
good
by
more.
we get the same insights. Like, it's
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah," or they've had the same life experience, and you're going, "Wait a minute."
I've even said to clients before, like, "Okay, I think I might only be a step ahead of you in this
yeah,
pattern. So
exactly.
we're gonna dig in together. We're gonna be in this together, but I'm learning the same thing." And so,
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes that is a part of our own growth and our own continued work as a person, is learning to bring out into the outer world what we're exploring on the inner world.
yeah,
Not because we have the right answer for somebody, but to be along in partnership with somebody that's trying to work
yeah,
on that same thing and to explore it together.
yeah,
right.
exactly. Yeah,
I love that you not only took a skill set that was taught to you, you also brought in your past training and your past wisdom that you came with, and then you developed something new that kind of sits in collaboration with the skill sets that the Center for Equus Coaching taught you, these Equus Coaching skills. I think that's what makes Equus coaches super successful, when you're willing to take it and make it your own,
Mm,
when you're willing to develop a model like you have that helps your clients better understand themselves and helps you understand them better.
mhm.
That is the sweet spot, when we can bring all of it together, add to that skill set, and actually bring forward and make it into its own unique expression in the world.
yeah, and what I do love about the Center for Equus Coaching and Equus Coaching in general is that it's not cookie cutter.
Yeah.
It, as you said, you can make it your own, and you learn those skill sets that you need as the foundation, and then you can make it your own. And there's no, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, it's run and go and do and make it your own. As long as you're following the same values and the same, skill sets that you were taught, you can, as you said, you can make it whatever you want.
Mm.
That's
And
beautiful.
an
I think.
even better argument for why to do it in pairs or partnerships like this,
Mhm,
because it's nice to have a brainstorming partner when you're trying to
mhm.
make it your own, to not be sitting in a vacuum going, okay, I think this would work. Let me try this out.
Yeah.
Like, you actually have somebody to bounce off of and collaborate with and
Yeah.
brainstorm with and develop a model like you guys have. I think what you've done is so. I'm going to start looking for either my own Marlene or Maureen as an Equus coach.
Yeah.
Come join us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm moving to Canada. Oh, there's a lot of
Yeah.
reasons why I would want to anyways.
Yeah. One client and 10 coaches. Okay,
Let's
I can
overwhelm them.
solve.
Oh, that would be very
Well,
entertaining.
Canada would welcome you with open arms.
Oh, that's so lovely. Well, thank you so much, Marlene and Maureen. This has been a real
Thank
joy to
you.
connect with the two of you. Thanks for sharing your version of Equus coaching in the world. And if people wanted to find out more about your work, wanted to come work with you, how do they find you in the world?
So unbridledcoaching.com is our website. We are on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So that's how you can find us.
Okay, I'll make sure there are links in the description of this video so that people can find those really easily.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you again both so much for joining me and for sharing your
We
version of
want to say
Equus coaching.
goodbye.
See our full
Those hats are perfect. Oh, not only do I need my own Marlene or Maureen, now I also need one of those hats.
Oh yes, these hats are amazing.
Yeah.
More
They have
That's so,
history.
they do.
that's so
We use
great.
them a lot.
If you've been watching this video and you're interested in what this Equus coaching thing is, find us at equuscoach.com. We are running personal development retreats. We're also running an Equus coach training where we teach a spring and a fall cohort for teaching people who are interested in doing this work. As a reminder, you don't have to have horsemanship skill already, and you don't have to be a coach even. You just have to be interested in being in personal development with other people and in nature with an animal. So if this is sounding interesting to you, please find us at equuscoach.com. And you can also find us on all social media channels at the Center for Equus Coaching. Thanks again, Marlene and Maureen, for joining me. And until our next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you.